Another day, another project. The last couple episodes I've been just prepping stuff on the truck to get on the road again. And one of the things that I need to do is replace my rear brake pads, rotors, and calipers. So I've actually never done this before. I've never done brakes. So we're gonna do the brakes, and then I also have this right here. This is a airlift suspension kit. As you can tell, the weight of the back of my truck, I mean, there's not a lot of space to work with there, and that's not good for my suspension. I'm not mechanically inclined. I've never done this before, so I thought I'd take you guys along for the journey because something interesting is bound to happen. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes swimmingly and we're that much closer to being able to get on the road. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna break the lug nuts, and then I'm gonna jack this thing up and take the wheels off. Oh man. Jack stands are under. Now the key here is to be slow. You see, that's how it's probably going to look with the airbag, so. All right, well, here we are. We got two 10mm screws that we needed to get. Now this is like a rubber, it's for like if the truck's shimmying, so like helps the caliper stop shimmying. I read that somewhere. I didn't actually know that before I started doing this, but and we're not gonna be able to get that all the way off because of this leaf spring here. If I was gonna save my caliper, I'd break my bleeder valve. I don't know if I have to in this instance because I'm just gonna take it off and I'm actually replacing a whole caliper. So now I gotta figure out, oh, tie her down. Go. Got it. You can see those pads aren't even bad at all. That's okay. This hat seems like it's pretty stuck on there. Ooh, that's loud. Alright, well maybe you can tell, but this thing is frickin' rusty and it's kind of stuck on there, so I'm gonna have to give her the beans here. Wow, that one is so much easier to take off. What the heck? This is the one that the valve sheared off of right there, so that's no good. We're leaking a little bit of brake fluid right now, so I'm gonna tighten this guy back up, actually. Those brake pads actually still have a lot of life left in them. I feel a little bad for replacing them right now, but my brakes were squeaky. I don't know what was happening. Maybe I just needed to replace my rotors. But it sounded like metal on metal grinding again, and last time that happened, I had a truck that didn't have brakes on it for a second. So for those of you that are curious how much this costs for my 2011 F-150, I think the rotors were around $112. The brake pads were around $52 for the set plus the clips. The calipers were another $50 a piece with a $25 surcharge, so bring these back and I get $25 back, so that's cool. Alright, well this is the suspension that I was talking about, the load lifters. These are airbags, and they're going to help the rear of my truck stay up because ever since I put that camper setup in there, I've either needed to replace the leafs or do this. All right, so the first step to getting these air suspension systems on is I gotta take these bump stops off. So there's actually a screw on the inside of there. I think it's a 15 millimeter or 10 millimeter, I'm not sure. A little trial and error. We're gonna pop that thing loose, get that bump stop off. It's almost out, and bingo. Ooh. All right, so now the stock bump stops, when you take them off, they have these little notches that fit into the frame. These are the mounting brackets that are gonna go onto the frame, and this is the hole that's actually gonna mount this system. It's gonna use the same hole as the bump stops. Now, the instructions say just to leave the bump stops off. I'm not gonna do that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take an angle grinder and just take these two notches off here. Going to be kind of difficult with one person. Just going to put the bump stop on there. Definitely recommend having a friend with if you're going to do this. That one's secure. Now let's do the other side. Oh, there goes my boot. Oh man, I'm gonna need to get some new ones. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna install the bags on both sides. Put the brackets on and then install them. All right, moment of truth. Yeah, that would make sense. Yep, can't have the bump stops. So I can't have the bump stops because the bag is supposed to go there. So I'm gonna have to do without them. Now this will be interesting. I gotta get that there. And for my next trick, alright, so here's my air hose. When I'm cutting this stuff, it's really important not to use the scissors because it'll actually compress the hose down and it's not going to give my hose as nice of a seal. So I'm going to use a very sharp, brand new razor blade. I'm going to have a hose for each side, so I'll have a fill up for the left side and a fill up for the right side. So that means if I'm on uneven ground with the truck, I can actually even it out with my airbag system. So just gonna break the tape here. I'm not gonna cut it because I'm kind of worried I'll nick a hose or something. And then it is important to keep this stuff away from sharp edges. Once I get it kind of in place, we're gonna zip tie it to the frame. Okay, it's really important to get a clean edge on here, so we're gonna fold over the hose like so. And bam. All right, and finally we have the air suspension all hooked up. It looks great. We've got the lines that run all the way down here, and they come right out here on my license plate. Okay, up we go. And I put it on backwards. There we go. There's my old rotor. There's the fresh new one. Looks nice. The clips that came with my brakes are definitely not the right size, so that kind of sucks. Hopefully that the Hopefully the pads are the right size. I'm gonna look it up quick before I go any further. Alright, so as it turns out, the auto store sold me the wrong brake pads. They sold me brake pads for 2004 instead of a 2011. A little bit of an oopsie on their end. The problem is so you see that little hook right here? That doesn't fit. See how it doesn't fit on there? And they're just too small. It's just how it goes for me. This project that I thought was gonna take like 4 or 5 hours maybe, is gonna take 8, 9 hours now, so that's good. I just did the research on this too, and again, 2004 caliper to fit the pads, so I'm not gonna throw shade at any automotive store, but alright, well after driving to the city, got the correct brake pads this time with the correct clips. Can't really blame the people over at the No Name Auto Store. It's not really their fault. You know, I should have looked, I guess, before I left the store. Alright, can finally get back to work. Alright folks, so when you're doing this part, you want to make sure you have some cardboard down and have something to catch your brake fluid with. I'm going to use my 15mm socket. And there we go. See, it's just draining brake fluid. I'm going to try to catch that. So now you saw it fell off. It's just a copper washer. My new caliper came with 2 new ones. It's really important not to reuse those, and you can see on this side maybe if the hose will turn for you. There's another one. First, what you can do is you can use like the tip of your screw, so kind of just put the screw in, try to pop it out, and that worked. There we go. How we do this is 1 washer, 1 through, and then my other washer. Make sure you are using the new ones. I almost just grabbed the used one by accident, but that's a no-go. The point of these is to mend and create the seal. There we go, clean finished product. Alright, we're in the final stages. I'm really excited. Check my brake fluid levels. Pretty much maxed out by the looks of it. I'm trying to get the air out of my brake line, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop the seal. Alright, there's a look at the air suspension and that new caliper. It's looking pretty good. Let's get the tire on. Oh yeah, I ran and got new lugs today too. Alright, now it's time to test this sucker out. I've got a little mini air compressor here. Can actually set the PSI. The max PSI per side is 50, so about 35 is probably a good place to start. So we're going to start lifting the right side right now. Maybe we'll go 45. Our hands like that. This is the side that's filled up to 45 PSI. Over here. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's night and day difference. That looks good. Oh yeah, so much more even. Look at that. It's up to like my upper thigh now. Before, like when I used to drop this down, yeah, that's so much higher. It's like right at my waistline basically. It just looks better. We gotta try to take it for a spin. I tried to drain my brake lines for the first time. We're gonna see how that went. A little nervous, but we're moving forward, so that's good. So yeah, I was supposed to take this truck on an adventure tonight, but it's 7 o'clock now. I got a giant mess, and probably should take care of that, so there's always tomorrow. Thanks again for tuning in this episode. Appreciate you guys taking some time out of your day and spending it with me, and hopefully you learned a thing or two, or at least we're entertained. So thanks again. Until next time, my name is Mavrik, and you already know the drill. Just keep on trucking.